Some people don't struggle because they are weak. They struggle because they have spent so much time being the strong one, and they no longer know how to ask for help. So when and if life feels heavy, they keep going. And after a while, that kind of strength becomes exhausting. Hi, I am Dr. Ikus Ono. I help high-performing individuals develop mental clarity, improve themselves intentionally, and build sustainable ways to grow without losing themselves in the process. And today we're talking about the hidden cost of always being the strong one. Because from the outside, it may look capable, dependable, emotionally mature, and composed, but internally, you may be overwhelmed, mentally stretched, emotionally tired, and still trying to carry everything alone. And for many people, this didn't start recently. Point number one, you learned to be the strong one early on in life. A lot of people become emotionally independent too early in life. Maybe you were the responsible one, the matured one, the dependable child, the person everyone leaned on emotionally. So naturally, you learned how to survive without needing much support. You learned how to suppress your needs, how to manage your emotions internally, how to figure out things on your own. And over time, needing help started to feel uncomfortable. Because somewhere in your mind, strength became connected to self-resilience. So now, even as an adult, you may still feel like you should handle everything by yourself. You shouldn't need support. And the truth, that mindset becomes very heavy after a while. But here is what becomes emotionally exhausting. Point number two, you start carrying everything alone. When you're used to being strong, asking for help can feel unfamiliar, sometimes even unsafe. So instead of reaching out, you isolate emotionally. You tell yourself, I'll figure it out. I don't want to burden anyone. People expect me to be okay. So you keep functioning. You keep showing up. You keep performing. But internally, your mind is overloaded. And because you're so used to carrying things quietly, people may never realize how much pressure that you're actually under. And this is why many high-functioning people struggle silently. Point number three, high-functioning struggle is hard to see. One of the hardest things about being the strong one is that your struggle often becomes invincible. Because you still go to work, you still answer your messages, you still show up for people, so everyone assumes that you're fine. But functioning and coping are not always the same thing. Sometimes you are functioning while emotionally you're exhausted underneath. And over time, this pressure starts showing up in subtle ways. Mental fatigue, emotional shutdown, irritability, anxiety, feeling disconnected from yourself, feeling tired even after resting. Not because you're weak, but because carrying everything alone eventually drains you. And one of the hardest parts, point number four, you may feel guilty for needing support. A lot of strong people feel guilty when they finally need help because they're so used to being the helper, not the one receiving. So even when they're struggling, they minimize their pain. They say, I'm okay. It's not that serious. Other people have bigger problems than I do. Meanwhile, internally, they're emotionally drowning. And because they've built their identity around being the strong one, slowly it feels very uncomfortable. Receiving support feels unfamiliar, but constantly carrying emotional weight without support is not strength. That is survival. And this is the part I really want people to understand. Point number five, asking for help is not weakness. Being emotionally strong does not mean carrying everything alone. And asking for help does not mean that you're weak. In fact, Emotional maturity is recognizing when your mind is overwhelmed, when your emotionally capacity is low, when you need support, and when you need rest. Because no human being is designed to constantly pour out without recovery. And a lot of high performers burn out because they normalize emotional isolation. They've convinced themselves that independence means strength, vulnerability means weakness, needing support means failure. But that is not true. Healthy people need support too. So what is the healthier shift? Section number 6. Learning to receive support too. The shift is learning that support is not something you only give. It's also something you deserve to receive. You are allowed to ask for help, express when you're struggling, lean on other people, not have everything together all the time. Because healing often begins when you stop carrying everything alone. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is to let yourself be supported too. So if you've been feeling mentally exhausted, pause, ask yourself honestly, let's talk. Have you been trying too hard to be the strong one? Because strength should not require emotional isolation. And growth becomes healthier when you stop believing you must carry everything by yourself. You deserve support too. If this resonated with you, subscribe for more conversations like this and share this with someone who carries a lot quietly and rarely asks for help.